So, you've enjoyed Athens and you want to explore more of ancient Greece. Well then, these 6 ancient day trips from Athens are just for you, all easily reached by car or organised tour. But all of my sites are arranged in ascending distance from Athens, and inevitably they get better the further you go. Otherwise, why would you bother going further from Athens? Ancient site number 1 is Sounion and the Temple of Poseidon, only about an hour south of Athens, along a fantastic road, the Athens Riviera. It's easy to get to, brilliant drive, and worth it when you get there. This ancient temple to Poseidon was built in about 380 BC after the original was destroyed by the Persians after they'd beaten the Spartans at Thermopylae, and it's fantastic. It's surrounded by sea on 3 sides. You've got these amazing views, and there is, across the road, another temple to Athena, which is rather less kept but still worth visiting. And the key really here is sunset. You come here at sunset. The views at sunset are amazing. So my suggestion is drive down, get a tour down, come down yourself, enjoy the numerous beaches around this area first, and then go to the temple at sunset and enjoy the sunset at this amazing temple. It's well worth it. Drive an hour northwest of Athens along the Olympia, which is a fantastic road along the coast, and you come to the ancient city of Corinth. And this is really 3 for 1, because you have the Corinth Canal, you have ancient Corinth, and you have the Acrocorinth, all of which are worth visiting. Now let's start with the Corinth Canal. It's not old. It was completed in 1893, and it's breathtaking, it's awe-inspiring, but you only need 10 minutes there, unless you're going to bungee jump, in which case perhaps you need a little bit longer. But then 10 minutes down the road, you come to ancient Corinth. This is the city-state of Corinth, and this for me is the main reason for coming to Corinth itself. It's fantastic. What's here now is mainly a Roman city, because the Hellenic city was destroyed in something like 146 BC by a major earthquake, but the Romans rebuilt it, and we see the remains of that now, and it's a place teeming with history. The museum's fantastic, the site's relatively large and easy to explore, and you can have a good 2 or 3 hours looking around here. And then above it we have the Acrocorinth, this monolithic slab of rock with the largest Byzantine castle in the Peloponnese. And should you have the legs, and you do need legs, I warn you, then you can spend an hour and a half walking up to the top here, where there is a Temple of Athena, and you get a fantastic view over the Corinth Isthmus. You can see the Ionian and the Aegean seas and look down towards Athens. Corinth also happens to be on the way to all my other sites, and it's often one that tour groups will stop at on the way to any of the next 4 that I'm going to mention. Travel 30 minutes south of Corinth and you come to my 3rd suggested site for a day trip, Mycenae, or Mycenae, the site of the Mycenaean civilization with its famous Lion Gate here. And this is by far the oldest site. This dates back to 1650 BC, over 3,000 years ago. And these people were really considered, along with the Minoans of Crete, the first proper Greek people. And here they were, living on the Argolic plain, overlooking Argos and the seaside. And this place must have been majestic to anyone visiting in those days. I think this is why mythology arose. This is where Agamemnon was king. This is where they went from Greece to besiege Troy. And there's a fantastic museum detailing all the finds going back that time, including a very famous golden mask known as the Mask of Agamemnon, although it probably has nothing to do with him at all. And if you have a chance, you should also explore just down the road ancient Tiryns, which was the port city of the Mycenaean civilization. Just as impressive, just as amazing, but hardly visited at all. And if you're in a car or if you're on a tour and they take you here, take the opportunity to visit, because it's incredibly impressive. And as I said, you can see why Greek mythology arose. 40 minutes south of Corinth, we have my 4th recommendation, the ancient Hellenic site of Epidaurus, famous for its ancient theatre, the best preserved ancient Greek theatre in Greece, seating 14,000 people and still in use to this day, recommissioned, and every summer holding the Epidaurus Theatre Festival, world famous for its Greek tragedies, its modern dramas and its famous actors. But move beyond the theatre and you have a holistic site. It was a spa resort in ancient times. It was where the ancient Greeks, the Hellenic Greeks, the Greeks of 400-500 years before Christ, came to be healed and in some cases to die. There was a hotel here, there was a spa here, there were several baths here, and the site is complex and brilliant to explore. There are loads of tours down here, and it's an easy hour-and-a-half drive from Athens. And if you combine it with, say, Mycenae or Corinth, you have a fantastic day out, and you can see somewhere where the ancient Greeks came to relax, enjoy themselves, and live. Number 5 is ancient Messene, a city 2.5 hours from Athens. So we're going a bit further here, but only an hour from Mycenae. Perhaps not as well known as some of the other locations I've mentioned and will mention, but for me, possibly the best archaeological site in the Peloponnese. This is not the easiest of the sites to get to. You may be best off with an organised tour unless you're very confident. And it is a city-state that no longer exists. It was established in 372 by the Helots. The Helots were the underclass of the Spartans. They were the slaves, if you like, of the Spartan society who kept it going for the warriors. But the Spartan society collapsed in about 372 when they were beaten in war. And the Helots rushed to this site in a panic, and they built this amazing city. They started by building some 9-kilometre walls around it to protect themselves from the Spartans, which was a good thing because the Spartans came back. But fortunately for the Helots, Philip II of Macedonia, Alexander the Great's father, came down and finished off the Spartans for good. That was the end of the Spartan society. But the Helots knew how to build, knew how to organise, knew how to live, and they built ancient Messene, and the scale and scope of this place is astonishing. It has, in my opinion, the absolute best stadium in the Peloponnese. Forget Olympia, we'll talk about Olympia in a minute, but the stadium's fantastic. But the scale of this place, being a city, if you go to Epidaurus, it was a holiday resort. If you go to Olympia, it was a religious site. They're not on the scale and scope of this, and only 50% of it has been excavated at this point. So go, enjoy, explore. It's amazing. My final site is the absolute best one in the Peloponnese, the one that you must visit if you're only going to visit one site. And it should be, because it's 4 hours from Athens, that of ancient Olympia, home of the Olympic Games from 776 BC and held every 4 years for almost 1,000 years afterwards. Emperor Nero came here and competed in, I think, AD 67. And there is so much to see here. It's fantastic. If you want to see ancient Greece in one place, this is it. The site isn't enormous, but it's incredibly dense. You have the stadium, not the best stadium in the Peloponnese, ancient Messene's is better, but where every 4 years the flame is lit for the modern Olympic Games. And you have 1,000 years of history here. You have the fabulous Temple of Zeus, built in about 500 BC, and site of one of the wonders of the world, the 15-metre tall golden ivory statue of Zeus, which was apparently astonishing to visit. There is everything here, and you can come on a guided tour, you can be shown round, and the investment in this place, the museum especially, best museum in the Peloponnese. I cannot recommend Olympia highly enough should you wish to find out about ancient Greece. And if you're going to visit one site, this is the one you should visit.